Okay, Paul, so as you know, a few brothers have asked about your background story, about how you came to Islam. So, by all means, take the floor.
Well, Bismillah. I feel embarrassed because it's a very uninteresting story, it really is. But as people have asked, I'll just offer a few words, just for a couple of minutes. Before I was a Muslim, I was a committed Christian. Not a nominal cultural Christian, but the real thing. You know, I went to church regularly and argued for Jesus being God and the Bible being inerrant and so on. I was a bit evangelical. But there were some problems, and I came to realise that I wanted to really come clean and think, maybe Jesus wasn't God. Was he God? Did he claim to be God? So I looked into it very honestly with the best biblical scholarship I could find, and I came to the very painful conclusion that he didn't think he was God. I don't doubt that other people thought he was God, but he himself didn't think he was Yahweh. And that really, really blew my mind. And what did I do? And what I also, at the same time as being a Christian, I was also quite Islamophobic. I mean, we see it very, very much in the world today, but then it was less explicit in the world. But I still felt more and more fearful of Muslims. You know, I live up the road from here, and they seem to be coming up the high road here, closer and closer to where I live, and 9/11 and all these terrible things are happening. And I became quite fearful of Muslims. And I decided one day, though, because that's what I'm like, really, to look again at this and see if Islam really was a barbaric religion that's contrary to civilized values and hostile to us here in Britain. So I went to my local mosque, which is Regent's Park Mosque, which I still go to regularly. That's where I said my Shahada, actually, about a year and a half later. And I met some Muslims without any intention, obviously, whatsoever, converting, just to ask them, look, what does your religion teach? And I discussed with them and I argued with them a bit. And I came to discover something amazing, which I didn't know existed, and it's called Islam. Real Islam. And that was an amazing experience. But even more than that, I discovered something I really had no inkling of, and that was the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Extraordinary life, which I had never been taught about it at school or anything like that. So I came to a crossroads. Do I continue as a Christian who kind of didn't believe Jesus was God, or did I decide to embrace Islam? And I ultimately embraced Islam, alhamdulillah. And that was about 10 years ago-ish now. And I said my Shahada at Regent's Park Mosque. And there we are. So it's not very exciting, but I feel much more secure in my understanding of God, the Tawheed, of who Jesus was, Prophet Muhammad, who he was, than I ever. My faith as a Christian became quite fragmented because of what I was learning about who Jesus was from historians and so on. So there we are. End of story.
And here we have Paul today.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.